While I was heading up the stairs, arms full of grocery bags, I heard my brother's voice coming from inside my apartment. I froze right there in the hallway. He said something like, "You're wasting your time and your body on a joke. Just ditch him tonight. I'll show you what you've been missing." Then my girlfriend actually laughed and said, "You're not wrong. I've been over him. Just waiting for the right moment." I remember smiling to myself. An hour later, I walked in like nothing had happened. 3 days after that, I made a move that left both of them crying outside my door. Since then, my phone hasn't stopped ringing. They started calling from random numbers. They even reached out to folks I barely talked to, begging them, "Please tell him to unblock us. He's ruining everything. Make him stop. Tell him I'm sorry. Please, just give us one more chance." Alright, so I've never posted anything here before. Usually, I'm just a lurker. Most of the stuff I read sounds fake anyway. But not gonna lie, after today, I finally get why people vent online. Sometimes you've got nowhere else to put all this crap. I'm still kinda shaking while writing this, so if it reads messy, my bad. Also, I'm on my phone, so you're getting this raw and unedited. Whatever. A little backstory, I'm Ethan. I'm 28. My older brother, Derek, is 30. I live with my girlfriend, Chloe. She's 27. We moved into this apartment last year, nothing fancy, but it's got this quirky little balcony. I tinker with my bike out there sometimes. It's kind of my thing. Chloe moved in around March. We've been together a few years. Derek's got his own place about 25 minutes away, but he drops by a lot. Honestly, probably too much. Sometimes he just shows up without saying anything first. My mom says that's just how family is, but I think she's just avoiding picking sides whenever Derek and I butt heads. Anyway, today was already crap. I had to run like 5 errands after work. The grocery store was slammed. And of course, the plastic bag handles dug into my hands because I forgot to bring my reusable ones. So I'm climbing the stairs, arms full, phone buzzing nonstop from some dumb group chat, not important, just annoying, and when I reach my floor, something feels off. Not horror movie weird, just off. The door isn't closed all the way. That little gap where you can see the light from inside? It was there. And some music was playing, but not my playlist. I go to push the door open, then pause. I hear voices. It's Derek and Chloe, which threw me off. I didn't even know he was stopping by, and I'd never seen them hang out alone. I almost walked in, but then I actually heard what they were saying. And they weren't exactly whispering. Derek was going off about how Chloe's wasting her energy on a clown, guess that's me, and telling her she should just dump me already. Then he goes full creep and says he'll show her what she's been missing. And she laughs. Not a polite chuckle either. A real laugh. Then she says she's already done with me and just waiting for the right time. I just stood there like an idiot holding 2 grocery bags. One of them was dripping milk, of course. And I didn't move. I guess I thought they'd stop talking or maybe notice me. But they just kept going. They started talking about my stuff, divvying it up. Derek joked about taking my bike since I wouldn't need it anymore. Chloe said she'd probably have to block me because I'd get all dramatic. I nearly laughed right there. That's her favorite word when she's mad at me, dramatic. Like I'm always the one with the problem. I'm not gonna act like I'm calm and collected all the time. I've got a temper. And Derek? He's always known how to push my buttons. He's been trying to one-up me since we were kids. I think it eats at him that I left our parents' house before he did. I did it on my own too. He still asks them or me for money now and then. Chloe had been acting kind of off lately, but I chalked it up to stress or maybe being annoyed that I was always fixing stuff around the apartment instead of taking her out. Just last week I asked if everything was okay. She rolled her eyes and told me I was being paranoid. I stood outside that door for like 5 minutes. Felt more like an hour. Just listening. At one point, Derek said he was tired of watching me walk around like I own everything and that it was time things changed. That's typical Derek. He's not dumb, just thinks he deserves more than he's got. Mom used to tell him to be more like me. I know that used to burn him up inside. So maybe going after Chloe is his way of getting back at me. I don't know. Chloe's got her own baggage. Her last relationship ended because she cheated. Said her ex was too controlling. I didn't think too hard about it back then. Eventually, I just set the bags down outside. Didn't want to walk in? Not yet. I headed back down the stairs without saying a word. Walked around the block a few times. Called my buddy Logan but didn't tell him what was going on. We just talked about some dumb meme he'd sent me. I was still shaking. Dropped my phone at one point. I needed time to think. The more I replayed what I'd heard, the less shocked I felt. All those little red flags suddenly made sense. Chloe always taking Derek's side when we argued. Derek sending her memes like it was nothing. Stuff going missing from the kitchen and both of them blaming each other or me. I waited about an hour. Maybe more. Then I went back upstairs, picked up my groceries, and walked in like nothing had happened. Derek was lounging on the couch. Chloe was in the kitchen. They were both acting way too normal. She was glued to her phone. He was half watching some show. I dropped the bags on the counter a little harder than I meant to. Derek looked like he was about to say something, then stopped. Chloe barely even looked up. I joked, "Hope you didn't eat all my leftovers." Derek smirked but didn't reply. The air was thick, but not so much that they'd notice unless they were really paying attention. The rest of the night just felt off. Derek left after half an hour. Chloe claimed she was tired and went to bed early. I stayed up, scrolling through Reddit, turning it all over in my head. I kept expecting her to ask if something was wrong, but she never did. She probably thought I was mad about something dumb, like spilled milk or the mess in the kitchen. So yeah, I didn't lose it. I didn't confront them. I just played it cool. But make no mistake, I've got a plan. I'm done being the guy who gets walked all over just because it's family. I'm not letting this go. If folks want an update, I'll share what happens next. But I'll say this much, I'm not walking away while they sit back and laugh. That's not happening. Update 1. Alright, weird update time. I honestly wasn't planning on posting again, but after everything that's happened and all the wild DMs I got from the first post, I figured maybe it's worth sharing more. My brain's still a mess. I haven't really been sleeping. So if you didn't read part 1, scroll up. I'm not going through it all again. Anyway, after that whole grocery bag mess, I kept things chill. Not friendly. Just neutral. I didn't bring anything up. I needed time to really figure out what I wanted to do. I didn't want to explode and give them something they could twist back on me. Plus, I wanted to see if they'd slip up or if maybe I was just losing it. To be honest, I kept second-guessing what I heard. But the way they acted afterward? No. I wasn't imagining it. Things started going sideways almost immediately. That night, Chloe barely said a word to me. Just kept scrolling on her phone and mumbled something about a headache. Typical. Then the next morning, Derek texts me like everything's normal, asking if he can borrow my charger or something dumb like that. I just texted back, sure. Didn't even want to see his face, but I figured fine, let's see how he acts when we're face to face. He shows up the next day, lets himself in like he owns the place. That's on me. He still had a key. Should have changed that months ago. He plops himself at the kitchen counter, being all loud with Chloe, laughing at stuff on her phone, cracking inside jokes he knows I won't get. Acting like I'm invisible. At one point, I catch him looking at me with the smug grin. I ask what's so funny. He just shrugs and goes, nothing. But that grin doesn't go away. I swear he was trying to get me to lose it just so he could play victim. Chloe's acting off too. Like she's tiptoeing around me but can't help smiling when Derek's in the room. She kept brushing past him accidentally in the kitchen. I'm not dumb. I see what's going on. What really sent me over the edge was later that night my mom calls. She asks if everything's okay between me and Chloe. I go, why are you asking? Turns out Derek's been over at her place telling her I've been all stressed and paranoid lately. Says maybe Chloe deserves someone better. He's painting me like I'm unstable. Like I'm some impossible to live with mess. I ask my mom if Chloe said anything and she says no, but she's been real quiet at family dinners. So now I'm the crazy one. Feels like they're setting the stage, prepping to make me the bad guy in their little story. Not gonna lie, part of me wanted to just pack Chloe's stuff and leave it by the front door. But no. I needed to see just how deep this went. Maybe I crossed a line, but I checked Chloe's phone after she left it in the bathroom. I still knew her passcode. She never changed it. I didn't even try to be sneaky, I just scrolled through her messages. And there it was. Chloe and Derek had been texting for months. Not just flirty stuff, actual plans. Talking about how they'd handle bills once I was gone. Making fun of how I clean. Joking about my bike. Derek even sent her a picture of my old hoodie, the one he borrowed. She texts back that she can't wait to wear it in front of me. Like it's some twisted joke. So yeah, it's not just cheating. They're literally planning to boot me out and play house in my apartment. And get this, Chloe's not even on the lease. She moved in last year. We talked about adding her name, but she never followed through. Derek's asking if the landlord is chill, wondering if he can crash here for a while. They're making actual plans to replace me in my own place. Like it's theirs. That's when the sadness wore off and the anger took over. I sat down and started making a list of everything in the apartment that's technically mine. Furniture. TV. My bike. The Wi-Fi's in my name. All of it. I pulled out the lease to double-check. Sure enough, just my name on it. No subletting unless I give the green light. Guests have a 1-week limit if I say so. I almost laughed. They were so cocky they didn't even bother to check the paperwork. Chloe keeps saying she'll figure it out when the time comes. Derek's out here saying I'm too soft and I'll just cave. Yeah, okay, buddy. At that point, I started watching everything. Chloe suddenly gets all sweet, offering to cook, asking if I need anything from the store, calling me babe right in front of Derek like she's still playing girlfriend. Meanwhile, Derek keeps throwing little jabs. He accidentally knocks over my bike. I tell him to be more careful and he shrugs, says maybe I should find a safer place to store it. I tell him to stay out of the storage closet and he just laughs like it's a joke. Later that night, I hear them whispering in the hallway. Chloe says she thinks I'm getting suspicious. Derek tells her to chill, says I'm not smart enough to figure it out. Well, guess I'm just background noise in their little game. I start locking up all my important stuff, my laptop, my passport, even the emergency cash I had tucked away. I moved that to a lockbox at my parents' place. Didn't tell them why. Just said I was getting organized. My dad thought it was weird, but he's got his own drama with the neighbor, so he didn't press. At this point, I'm basically living with two strangers pretending nothing's wrong. The tension in the air is thick enough to choke on, but no one says anything. Chloe starts trying to take me out, says she wants to talk. I tell her I'm busy. She storms out, slams the door, and then texts Derek that she's done pretending. I saw it later when she left her phone out during a shower. Derek texts back, just let it play out. He'll snap soon. The next day, I get a call from my landlord. Says someone's been asking about adding a new tenant. Take a wild guess, yeah, it's Derek. Landlord tells me he doesn't deal with randos. Only me. I tell him not to add anyone, and he agrees. Said he just wanted to check first. So now it's official, they're not just sneaking around. They're trying to lock this whole thing in. By the time I get home that night, Derek's parked in my chair, feet kicked up, eating my leftovers like it's no big deal. Acting like he runs the place. I tell him to leave. He shoulder checks me on his way out, grabs his crap, and slams the door. Chloe comes out and asks what happened. I tell her straight I'm done with him. She shrugs and says it's not her problem. I tell her I know what's going on. She goes pale for a second, then rolls her eyes and says I'm being dramatic again and walks out. Slams the door so hard a picture frame hits the floor. That's when I start packing her stuff. Every little thing. Thrown into bags and boxes. No care. No sorting. I text Logan and ask if I can crash at his place for a couple nights just to clear my head. He says yeah and asks if I'm alright. I'm not. But I don't say it. That night, I fall asleep on the couch, just waiting for whatever happens next. I'm not letting them take everything I've built. I've got a plan. And this time, it's not just blocking numbers or disappearing. Next part might piss some people off. I really don't care anymore. I'm done playing nice. Let's see what happens when the joke goes too far. Update 2. Alright, this is the part everyone's been waiting for. Not gonna lie, I barely slept. Running on caffeine and pure spite at this point. If you're looking for some wise, calm, closure post, you're in the wrong story. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when someone finally snaps, buckle up. This is where things stop being awkward and start getting ugly. So after all the garbage with Chloe and Derek, see my last post, I kept it low-key for 2 days. Didn't explode. Didn't even bring it up. I just sat back and observed. Took notes on my phone. It's insane how fast people get bold when they think you're clueless. Chloe stopped hiding her laptop like she had nothing to conceal. Derek started showing up every afternoon. Eating my food. Leaving his nasty socks in the living room like this was his place. I'm serious. One day I came home and they were both lounging on the couch, watching some dumb YouTube drama, sharing a bag of chips. Didn't even glance up when I walked in. I just dropped my bag and went straight to my room. I think Chloe muttered something about me being moody. She was always calling me sensitive, but the way she said it then, it felt like a setup, like she was daring me to lose it. Next morning, the Wi-Fi's crawling. I checked the router. Some unknown device is connected. Derek must have given the password to one of his buddies. There's a new phone on the network I don't recognize. Later, I find a beer can under the couch. Definitely not mine. I text Derek and he sends me a laughing emoji. So yeah, they're getting real comfortable. Too comfortable. I could have kicked them both out right then. But that would have been too easy. I wanted them to feel it. I wanted them to learn what happens when you treat someone like they're just a joke. So I started putting a plan together. Nothing illegal. I'm not about to get locked up over 2 people who'd sell me out for a free sandwich. But I wanted it to hurt. I wanted it to stick. First thing I did was call my landlord. We're not friends or anything, but he's always been fair as long as you're straight with him. I told him the situation, how Chloe wasn't on the lease and how Derek had basically moved in without asking anyone. He asked if I wanted to file a formal complaint. I said not yet, just wanted it on record. He told me if I wanted them out, he could handle it, no problem. Just needed it in writing. Then he mentioned I could go ahead and change the locks, as long as I gave Chloe notice and a chance to get her stuff. I told him that was fine. I'd take care of the notice. So I went home and got to work. Not all at once. Just a little at a time. Every time Chloe left for the gym or ran errands. Probably off to meet Derek. I boxed up all her clothes. Her shoes. That dumb ring light. Every little thing that wasn't mine. Didn't even bother to wrap her chargers. Just tossed them entangled. I found Derek's hoodie in the closet and chucked it in one of the boxes. Left all the boxes stacked neatly by the front door. That night, Chloe comes home, sees the pile and goes, "What's all this?" I just looked at her and said, "You'll see." She gave this nervous little laugh, but her eyes were tight. I shrugged and went back to scrolling on my phone like nothing was happening. She started texting like crazy, probably Derek, then stormed into the bedroom and slammed the door. Next day, I set up a group chat. Just me, my parents, Chloe, and Derek. I dropped a photo of the boxes with a message. "Chloe's moving out. Derek and Chloe, don't come back here unless you've got a real reason. If anyone wants to know why, ask them. I'm not explaining it again." My dad just sent a question, Ethan. My mom called, asked me what was going on. I told her flat out, "Ask Derek. I'm done talking about it." Chloe started crying. Full-on tears, begging me not to do this. She grabbed at my arm. I pulled away. She slapped me. I told her to get out. She started tossing stuff in the hallway, yelling. I didn't care. Told her she had 2 days to pick up the rest of her things or I was donating it. Derek showed up like 40 minutes later, pounding on the door, yelling for me to open it. I didn't. He kept shouting through the door, saying I was ruining everything, that I was overreacting. I cracked the door just a bit to tell him to leave, and he tried to push his way in. So I shoved him back and slammed it in his face. He kicked the door and stormed off. Then my phone started blowing up. Calls and texts from my mom, my dad, even some random cousin from another city I haven't talked to in years. Chloe was apparently reaching out to everyone she could, telling them I was kicking her out with nowhere to go. I just kept saying, "Not my problem." I called the landlord and asked him to schedule a lock change for the next day. He said okay. That night, Chloe tried to sneak back in, but I was sitting on the couch, waiting. She hit me with the guilt trip, said she had nowhere else to go, that Derek promised her everything would work out. I told her to take it up with him. She left, slamming the door. Next morning, I see Derek hanging around outside the building. He follows me out, gets in my face, and shoves me. I shoved him right back and told him to get lost. He starts ranting about how I'm tearing the family apart, calling me crazy. I just laughed, told him he's never getting another key. He threatened to tell our parents everything. I said, "Go ahead." I already did. When Chloe came to grab more of her stuff, she tried to take my Bluetooth speaker and my old PS4. I told her to put them back. She started yelling, so I pulled out my phone and started recording. She backed off, started crying again. Said she had no place to go, that Derek was supposed to take care of her. I looked at her and said, "That's his problem now." They both ended up standing in the hallway, crying, yelling my name, begging me to let them in. I just turned up the TV and stayed on the couch. I heard Derek kick the wall. Chloe was sobbing. I didn't say a word. Since then, my phone's been a war zone. Random numbers. People from Chloe's side. Even old friends I haven't heard from in years. I just keep blocking them. I gave my parents a straight answer. Derek and Chloe tried to play me. Now they're out. That's it. My dad just said, "All right. Your house. Your rules." My mom keeps telling me to be the bigger person. But I'm done being that guy. So yeah, that's where things stand. I didn't just cut them off. I made sure they knew exactly why. And exactly what it cost them. I'm not sorry. Honestly, I wish I'd done it sooner. Let me know if anyone still cares. I don't know what comes next, but one thing's for sure, I'm not letting it slide. Final update. It's been a few days since all hell broke loose. And honestly, I feel weirdly numb. Not in some deep existential way. Just flat. Like I'm waiting for something else to happen. But it's just more noise. It's not dramatic anymore. It's just annoying. Yeah, I'm still mad. But if you came here hoping for a happy ending or a big family hug, you clearly don't understand how real life works. This ain't some sitcom. First thing I noticed, my phone turned into a damn call center. I'd wake up to 20 missed calls. Half of them from numbers I didn't even recognize. Some app-based stuff, even a landline. Who uses a landline? At first, I ignored it all. Figured Chloe and Derek would eventually get tired and move on. But nope. Every hour, another call, another voicemail, another text. They even started sending emails. Chloe left a handwritten note at my door, folded it and slid it under the mat. I tossed it in the trash without reading it. I'm not interested in whatever version of the story she's selling now. What got weirder? People I barely talked to started reaching out. Logan texted me, said Chloe hit him up at 3:10, begging him to convince me to unblock her. Some guy I knew in high school DM'd me on Instagram. Said Derek asked him to talk to me. I haven't spoken to that dude in years. Clearly, they're trying every possible angle. I'm still not biting. Eventually, my parents got dragged into it. I figured they would. My mom called. Said Chloe showed up at their place crying, wanting to explain everything. My dad asked if I really had to be so cold. I told him I'm not doing anything. I'm just done. Mom tried to suggest I was overreacting until she talked to the landlord. She's known him forever. After hearing what actually happened, how Derek tried to get added to the lease behind my back, how Chloe tried to move her stuff back in, she stopped pushing. My parents aren't happy about any of it. But they're not defending either of them anymore. Derek, though, he's been blowing up the group chat, complaining that I ruined his life, saying he's homeless now. He tried guilt-tripping my dad. Dad just hit him with, "You made your bed." Derek rage quit the chat for a day, then came back spamming voice messages. I didn't listen, just deleted them. Chloe's been quieter. She sent a bunch of crying emojis, then called from a new number. Blocked. She made one last attempt. Showed up with her mom. I was in the kitchen, heard voices in the hall. Opened the door. Told them flat out, "You're not coming in." Her mom tried the whole "she just needs closure" speech. I said, "Not happening. You had weeks to grab your stuff. It's gone." Chloe started yelling again. I told her to stop. She tried to push past me. I blocked her with my arm. Her mom started crying too. I shut the door. They stood out in the hallway for a while, then finally left. Later that night, a neighbor told me Derek was out in the parking lot, screaming into his phone, saying I'd destroyed his family. Not my problem. He could have just not been a snake. But I guess that's too hard for some people. I did get one call that made me stop for a second. My cousin rang me up, said Derek had tried to crash at his place. He turned him down. Apparently, Derek stiffed him on money last year, so he wasn't about to let that happen again. He asked if I was all right. I told him, "Yeah, just tired." He said, "Good. Don't let them back in." Found out Chloe lost her job. Apparently, she put my address on all her work documents, and now she can't prove where she lives. I didn't do anything to make that happen, but she still tried to blame me. I just told her, maybe ask Derek for help. Derek, from what I've heard, is couch surfing with some friend who's already getting sick of him. Then he texted me from another new number. Said I was being petty, that family should forgive. I blocked that number too. The wildest part? One of Chloe's old friends, someone I'd met one time at a party, actually called me. She was crying on the phone, begging me to unblock Chloe. Said she was a mess and just needed one more chance. I told her, "This isn't your problem," and hung up. Honestly, by now most people have either taken my side or stopped trying to get involved. The group chat's been completely silent ever since my mom told everyone to leave me alone and let me be. I even told my landlord to send any future packages for Chloe straight back to sender. After that, I wiped everything, changed all my passwords, locked down every account. I even put up a camera in the hallway, just in case anyone tries something at my door. Some folks say I'm being harsh, but honestly, I don't owe them a damn thing. I'm not gonna play therapist or let them drag me into fixing the mess they made. If they wanted a different outcome, they should have acted different. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just not interested. I'm not blocking people to be dramatic. I'm doing it because I want peace. And if that means Derek and Chloe finally have to deal with some real consequences for once in their lives, so be it. I know this isn't some perfect ending. I'm not magically over it. I'm not suddenly walking around happier. There are still little things in the apartment that make me feel weird, but I'm not letting them back into my life. Ever. And if you're reading this, wondering if you should give someone like that another shot, don't. You don't owe anyone your sanity or your space. Anyway, that's it. If anything else wild happens, I'll post. But I think I'm finally done with all of this. Thanks to the folks who actually understood where I was coming from. And to everyone saying I took it too far, try getting stabbed in the back like that before you start judging.